Sixth inning, 4-0 Chicago. Alfonso Soriano leads off against John Neese. We're talking with Mets general manager Sandy Alderson. Sandy, as we move toward the trading deadline, and you've got 23 days now, clearly you've got some internal options for some of the needs that you have. Jason Bay's coming back from the disabled list. You've got guys like Henry Mejia and Josh Edgins sitting in the minor leagues. Now we know that we're going to see Bay. Are you going to make a concerted effort to look at those minor league relief options before you make a decision about whether you go outside the organization?
Yeah, we're going to try to do that. I think that we'll have probably 10 days or so after the All-Star break to be able to do that, and that's our intent, at least with a couple of guys. So I think you'll see a couple of new faces between now and the end of July, and we'll take a look at them and see what we think, and at the same time be evaluating what else is available to us. But I think it makes sense for us to take a look and see where we are as we get closer to the end of the month.
Soriano hits it out to center field, and Valdespin looking very comfortable out there in his first big league game in center.
He certainly does, and since you brought him up, Gary, I think we should have ask a question about this young man out there.
Sure.
He is a very talented young man with a nice swing, with power.
Yeah, no, he brings a lot of things to the game, and some of the things we don't have in the rest of the lineup. So he's forced Terry to take a look at him in left, a little in center. He's played second. He could, in a pinch, play some shortstop.
Oh, right, with a brilliant grab. Just another exclamation point on one of the best first halves any Met has ever had.
Well, his defense this first half has been the best of any of the years he's ever played in the major leagues, and obviously his whole career here with New York.
Another great play.
So that helps Neese continue to roll. You brought up chemistry before, Sandy, and I know one place where this organization, not only at the big league level, but really throughout the organization, would like to upgrade is at catcher. But catcher is such a chemistry position.
Yeah.
Even if one were presented to you, how difficult would it be to make a move at that position midseason?
Well, I think you got to be very careful. I certainly want to take into account what the pitchers and the pitching coach would have to say, but it again is one of those places where you've got to be very careful, because, for example, if you're looking for an offensive upgrade there, that's fine, but you never know what the impact might be on the other side. And what I'll say about our catchers is that they work hard. They're in early. They're working on game plans. They follow the plan. They're in sync with Dan Worthen, and I think that's a real hidden quality that we have that isn't fully appreciated. Sure, we'd like to get more offense out of that position, but at the same time, what's really important is how they handle the pitching staff and being in sync. And I've been in situations where we've added a catcher mid-year and it did not go well. Hoping to get some offense, didn't get the offense, and really was a downgrade defensively. So you really have to be careful.
Jason Bay is starting to begin rehab after the second concussion. When he's ready to go, obviously you need a right-handed bat. He would be a godsend if he can come back to form.
No, absolutely. Jason is our whole card right now. We have to hope that he comes back and can do, at least against left-handers, what he's done in the past. And even last year, when he didn't hit particularly well, he still had a very good season against left-handed pitching, which is really where we need him.
Can you stay with us for another half inning?
Sure, why not?
All right. Sandy Alderson back with us. We have a few more questions to ask him as we go to the bottom of the sixth with the Mets down 4-0. There you see Friday's probables. First game of the series in Atlanta. Johan Santana against Tim Hudson, and we're talking with Sandy Alderson, and certainly have to be more than thrilled about the starting pitching that you've gotten so far this year, as Murphy bangs one up the middle for a base hit.
Yeah, starting pitching's been great, very consistent, and really the strength of the club. And today a little unusual, giving up so many runs in the first inning, and actually we've done that over the last couple of days. But generally speaking, the starting pitching has just been terrific. very deep across the entire rotation, and the kind of quality at the top end that would bode well in a short series if you had the opportunity to play one.
Now that leads to the next question, which is that, well, it's kind of a two-pronged question. One is, as David rips one into center field, and the Mets have back-to-back hits. Knew if we kept you here long enough,
and we got something going.
So David has his first hit of the day, and the Mets have 2 men on.
Well, first ball fastball hitting.
I guess the first part of the question is, with Dickey having had such a phenomenal first half, and with the questions about Johan's health and Chris Young's health, can you expect the same level of performance? And the other part of the question is, if you did have a need at this point in the season or within the next month to 6 weeks, is Matt Harvey at the point where he would be the next option if you needed to go down and get a starter?
Well, as for the depth of our rotation and whether we can expect the same performance out of Dickey in the second half, I think it would be unrealistic to rely on that. But I do think that it's possible that Johan will get stronger. It's possible that Nice will continue to develop, and the bottom end of our rotation will get a little bit better. But if we have a need, I think Matt Harvey's getting closer, and I think that we may see a convergence between his development and our need at some point. I think the fact that he's pitched so well and over the first part of the season, and we haven't had the need at this point, bodes well. But at the same time, I think if we get a month down the road, he certainly could be a viable option for us.
What was the last step? What is the last step for Matt? And where would you characterize the development path of your other young pitchers, Familia and Wheeler, who's pitching in the Futures game today?
Well, I think for Matt, it's consistent results, and then his willingness to use and his command of all of his pitches, particularly off-speed stuff, and that, based on the reports we're getting, is coming along. As far as the other guys are concerned, Wheeler's been very good and starting to throw his pitches in all counts and so forth. So everything is looking very good with him. Familia's had a little more trouble. He's just not finding the strike zone consistently, and he had a very good game, really his best game of the year the other night. But probably going to be a little longer period of time with him. And Henry Mejia has pitched a little better out of the bullpen, and we could see him sometime in the future.
Do you anticipate Wheeler moving up to AAA anytime soon?
I think that's possible. I think that we'd like him to dominate that in a couple of additional AA starts before we move him, but I think it's very possible he'll move up soon.
Your pitching staff, your starters, have been going deep into games, Sandy, and it seems like we went through a period of time in baseball where it was such a reliance on pitch counts. I noticed that we're going over the 100 pitch count. Is that something that has changed philosophically under Terry and Dan Warthen? And
Barney to Castro and back to first, and the Cubs turn 2, and we're going to have to hold that one at the base. Sandy, thanks so much for giving us some extra time.
Yeah, happy to be here. See if we can change things here in the next couple innings.
If you leave, maybe they'll score.
That might do it. Change my seat.
Thanks, Sandy.
Thanks, Sandy.
My pleasure.